Hello, I'm just doing a quick video because I've got to some good levels in my head, I think. We've just been through Christmas and New Year and my birthday and my boy's birthday, which is today. So there's been lots of food and all sorts of messing about and all sorts of things like that. I've struggled kind of I wouldn't say I've super struggled with the food. I've had a few moments of comfort eating and binge eating and those processes, but I knew it was going to happen anyway because of what we went through and everything, and it's just like kind of letting your brain like naturally get into things rather than pushing it too much. So I had the urge the other day to and the last time I weighed in, because I sort of went each Monday and that during the time because I went with my son and daughter, and just to go weigh in, and I think the last time around I was still 10 stone 12, so I'm still kind of there, which again is good. Being in the 10 stone bracket is something I'd always wanted to be able to be, and I'm still in here, so I'm not worried too much, but I am retraining my brain to kind of get back into it. And I had the urge the other day to download MyFitnessPal, and I don't know whether you remember before, but this is a cycle that I go through often. If I find kind of struggle time, and I'm losing my way a little bit, I'll kind of go off track. I wouldn't say go off plan, but like I'm not eating right, but also I'm kind of losing the momentum. And when my brain starts to think, oh, maybe I'll try in a different way. Maybe I'll try a different way. I wouldn't say necessarily try. I'm always gonna be eating the Slimming World way, as in fit in foods, free food, speed food, those types of things. But finding a different way to track, because obviously Slimming World doesn't have very good apps. You can't really track your foods and all that sort of stuff. And I kind of understand why they do it, because the less focus you can put on tracking of food, sort of the better you are if you're more natural about it. So I can sort of understand why they don't make it so sort of obsessive, because then you do go down the route of obsessive behaviour around food. But so yeah, downloaded MyFitnessPal, and what I remember is that this is a cycle I normally go around. So what I'll do is I'll download MyFitnessPal, I'll enter my food in it for a couple of days, and then I'll think, right, well, that was a lot of calories. How can I make those calories stretch further? Then I say, okay, well, if I make sure I eat the Slimming World foods, because I know that they're low in calories, the dinners and all that sort of thing. And then I thought, right, let's enter those types of things in. This time round, I didn't really enter those things in, because I kind of knew how I was going to, how my brain was going to switch around. And eventually, my brain says, to be honest, because what you're doing is eating, because the benefit of Slimming World foods is that it is low calorie. So therefore, when you enter those types of foods into MyFitnessPal, you'll end up seeing that all of that food ends up being less than what you need, so therefore you lose weight. It tends to average out. Some days you'll eat a bit more, some days you'll eat a bit less, so it's just that's kind of how it works. But I've now got to this. I hardly had to use MyFitnessPal for like, I think it was maybe a week, before my brain starts to change its tune and go, well, to be honest, if may as well just eat Slimming World. One of the things I've been having to get my head right is the sugar again, because obviously over time living in other people's houses, ended up eating sugar out of kind of, well, I just don't want to mess people about. They're made to pie or whatever, and crumbles or whatever, and you start eating, so you start getting hooked up back up on it. So I've had to try and wean myself back off that again. I've been doing that a lot with the Diet Coke. Helps really well just to kind of wean myself off it. And then obviously doing the MyFitnessPal helps as well, because you're sort of being a bit more conscious of what you're eating. It makes you just a little bit aware of the food you're putting in. So that's where I'm back at again, where I'm going to go, trying to remember, thinking about Slimming World in terms of, because it benefits me if that's the other thing about doing MyFitnessPal, is that you realise just how, well, I realise just how time consuming entering all your details in. You have to weigh everything and measure everything, and it does take a lot of time to enter the whole lot, especially if you're doing something like have some soup, or like some, if you're making some soup, you just merrily chop in all the veg if it's Slimming World, aren't you? So some leeks and some carrots and all that sort of stuff. So if you're doing calorie counting, you have to actually weigh how much carrot you're using, and it doesn't, it's, whereas when Slimming World, okay, that's a free meal, that I don't have to count that. You're just a lot freer. All you have to do is count the healthy extra A's, B's and the sins, so you don't have a lot to kind of focus on. And also lots of the healthy extra A's are already weighed and measured already, so you can get your little laughing cow triangles, or you've got like Baby Bells or something like that, or kind of your milk that you can weigh out already, or it's a lot easier. And then the healthy extra B's are like a certain amount of nuts, or there's like a slice of bread, or so it's very easy to count it all, and that's why you can end up doing it alongside of all the other stuff you have to do in your life. So yeah, I got to the point now where I'm like, right, okay, I have a little triangle in my head of the biggest amount is the free food and the speed foods. You've got plenty of speed food and plenty of free food, like base most of your meals around that. You'd be thinking what you're going to have for breakfast is going to be something with some fruit in there, it's going to be some bananas, it's going to be like a bit of yogurt, it's going to be that sort of thing. If you've got a bit of toast, you'll be having a bit of fruit with it or something like that, a bit on that on the side, or you have generally like there'll be some breakfast environment like that. And then for some, if you want a snack, and end up being like a few carrots or something, or you'll have a kind of like a something with, so like I'd have some nuts with an apple or something like that. You'd have that type of thing as a snack. And then for lunch you'd have a something free, so you'd have like something with rice or pasta or couscous or something, those types of things. And then you'd have and then you do, because you can have plenty of coffee, as much coffee as you want to have. You don't have to be counting all the individual coffees. You can just, so all you have to do is count the milk, and it's like you've got plentiful foods of those types of things. So loads of free, loads of speed foods, basing it all around that. And then you've got a healthy extra A's, 2 of them, healthy extra B's, so you've got plenty of that. And then so what works really well for me is Savvy Sins, just going free food, speed food, healthy extra A's, healthy extra B's, Savvy Sins. Healthy extra A's and B's are like doing the healthy things anyway, and then just Savvy Sins. Savvy Sins for me are things that I don't overeat, things that I can have that taste really good and that do not have sugar in them. They're things like Savvy Sins are things for me that have some free or speed food in them as well. So Savvy Sins are like roasted vegetable couscous, are like other things are quite good, or something that you would eat something else with. So maybe a cracker or something like that you're also going to have a topping on that kind of fills you up. Because that's the other thing, looking at MyFitnessPal, is that you need to keep filled. So it's like trying to get filling foods, and it's not necessarily just where it's like it's not necessarily just that it fills you up, but it's going to keep you full for longer. So it's oats in the morning for breakfast. It's making sure you've got quite a lot of fibre in your like it's doing the root vegetables, making sure that's got plenty of fibre in, so you're quite full for longer, like jacket potatoes, baked beans and those types of things. Having chili and rice, those types of things, and also so that you're full but don't feel over full, because that's the benefit of Slimming World food, is you can eat it until you're just like, well, I've had enough of that now, and then it kind of, it's, for me personally, it switches on that, okay, I've had enough. It tells me when I've had enough quite easily, and I don't have to have a small portion in order to go, oh, okay, I have had enough. It just tells me, I just feel I don't have to eat in any special way. I don't have to eat on a smaller plate, or I don't have to eat with a smaller fork, and I don't have to eat with like a special time. I can eat first thing in the morning. I don't have to have any breakfast if I'm rushing, and I can just have some lunch. I can have some breakfast for snack. I can have a bowl of porridge for my evening meal if it's just, you don't have to eat in some special way. And I think that's why Slimming World works for me, and that's why it will carry on working for me. And I'm kind of grateful to be back in this head state again. It took me a long while. Again, I'm very grateful that I haven't put a lot of weight on, so I am very, very, very grateful that it takes a little while for the brain to kick in. But I think I'm in now. Obviously I've been trying in the meantime, make sure I'm not, keeping regularly to Slimming World, each choices each day and all that sort of stuff. And it's always been in the back of my mind, but I think I've got myself back now in my right head. And what will happen is I will slowly put my bits and pieces on my MyFitnessPal, and then it will drift away, and then I'll forget about it. That's just kind of what the process. I can't remember how many times this has happened before, but maybe 2 or 3. But I recognise the process whereby it goes, where I have to download MyFitnessPal and put myself in there to sort of see what, maybe it's almost like seeing what the alternatives are, to remind myself, just because Slimming World's got its problems, but it's only the only problem. One of the things about Slimming World is it doesn't teach you about nutrition. But the thing is, that's the best thing about Slimming World, because it doesn't tell you what to do. Because the thing is it teaches you about nutrition. Nutrition is different for everybody. I mean, some people have intolerances, and you can't be saying, oh, make sure you eat you can't make sure you have walnuts every day or whatever, because some people are allergic to nuts, so you can't have any of that. So I think that's the benefit of Slimming World, is the fact that it doesn't teach you a lot about all the things. I mean, it's got some great advice in all the books, and that it says, making sure telling you all about savvy sins, which ones are probably more sensible to eat than others, and all those sorts of things. But it lets you decide what's right for you, and that's what gives it its flexibility. It doesn't and it doesn't make food the be all and end all, and that's really important, because it puts it back into a sensible route, a sensible place of not being the focus of life. And getting the food right means that you've got the rest of life just to be going on with. And I think that's kind of where I feel like my head's coming back round to again, so that I can just have my routine in, have what I have for breakfast locked down, what I've got for my snack at work locked down, what I have for my lunch locked down, what I've got for my afternoon snack at work locked down, what I've got for my snack when I come back straight from work locked down, and then what I've got for tea, because I do have to have about 7 meals a day. I have to have like snacks regularly, because if I get hungry, I just make really bad choices when it's the next meal time. I just, that's when the bread and cheese comes out, because if I get over hungry, I've got no willpower. I just can't do it. I have to plan ahead, and I have to nurture the me inside that really wants to be fed. I have to make sure that it's nicely fed and taken care of, so that it doesn't just try and eat all the bread in the house. So, yeah, I think I'm getting closer. I'm going to see what I weigh tomorrow. I'm a bit concerned I will have put some more weight on, but again, there's a bit of me that, I'd say there's only about 5% of me that worries what the weight is like, because I know I need to. I know what's more important to me is what's right in my head, because that's the thing, that's the long-term thing that carries you through. So I think I'm there now. Again, I'm going to carry on with MyFitnessPal as if kind of just keep looking at it and keep putting my details in and all that kind of stuff, just to let that really fully settle in my head, to make myself realise that just eating plenty of free, plenty of speed, 2 healthy extra A's, healthy extra B, savvy sins, that will just let me go through, and plenty of fluids, because that's the other thing that really helps me through. Loads of, and not only just water or squash, but like sugar-free, fizzy, and like loads of different types of fluids, plenty of coffee, like loads of different options of fluids really, really, really help, because it can really help just to what's the word, like not really fill me up, but sort of put food back in its kind of rightful place, where it's not quite so much of a grazing thing, so not so much of a snacking thing, but making sure that I've got plenty of meals, my breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, home snack, evening meal. I don't know how that is. Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, home snack, so 6 meals. Well, not proper meals, do you know what I mean, but eating points. And then the rest of it's fluids, all sorts of different fluids. I think that will really help me just to bring in my eating times, to save me just grazing, because I end up, that once I've got the sugar out of my system again, and once I've kind of got that kind of refined foods back out, I know that will kind of settle down as well. But you just can't rush these things, can you? You just gotta like lure yourself out of it rather than push yourself out of it, because obviously you're doing it so many years, it's not like it's a fresh thing anymore. So you've got to lure yourself out gently. And I understand why my body wants to do it, because it's been a tough old time. So I understand that I'm just trying to soothe myself. I get that, and it's okay. I'm sort of like, I've got to tell myself that it's okay to try and comfort myself. Just got to lure myself out so that it recognises that there's other ways of comforting. Because I think because of, it was all very stressful, extremely hard, that I'd lost all of my other ways of comforting myself, because the restrictions that I was sort of under meant that you couldn't really do anything for yourself anymore in your own space anymore. So you kind of ends up being the food is the only option again. So yeah, just got to lure myself back out. But yeah, just wanted to let everybody know how I was getting on, and to kind of inform you kind of what my processes are. I'm going to go and weigh in again tomorrow and see how I get on. Alright then, I shall pause here and I will upload, and I will see everybody again soon. Bye!